Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to explain this so that even wonderful, morally superior, extremely intelligent liberal Democrats understand. There is a belief among the wonderful and virtuous, uh, beautiful liberal Democrats in our country that Trump sold the country out and he committed crimes. And see, the problem is there's no evidence that he committed any crimes. That's why they can't indict him. That's why they won't ever charge or indict Trump with any crime. They have investigated his tax returns. They found nothing. They have investigated through special counsel Mueller any ties associated with you know who and that country that, by the way, is invading. They're outside of the Capitol right now, and it's under the watch of Democrats. So we have to speak in YouTube-friendly guidelines. One of the worst moments in European history is taking place while Democrats are in office, and this is, of course, when Vladimir is petrified of the response of Democrats. That's why he installed Trump, right? Because he was so afraid of the JFK Cold War Democrats. And he didn't want Clinton. So with Facebook ads and Twitter bots, he manipulated the minds of impressionable voters. And these are the people who say, oh, Trump doesn't accept, oh my God, the results. Anyway, okay, mashed potato brains, president exhumed body is going to get impeached because his son's emails are legitimate. We knew this 2 years ago. They were so genuine that all of media, every social media algorithm converged to do what? To silence a story that was actually, of course, accurate and that exposed or highlighted the corruption, the actual criminal activity within the Democratic Party. There is a reason that President Mashed Potato Brains went from like 100,000 or 50 or 60 or 70,000 in net worth, something like that, in '08 to $10 million today. It's not from his speaking engagements, which is what they claim. Have you heard him speak? The man's slurring his speech, okay? And he's thanking the Iranian people when he should be the Ukrainian people, all these things. So he's out to lunch, one fry short of a Happy Meal. One beer short of a six-pack, not the sharpest tool in the shed. But he's leading the entire free world or greatest country in the world, so fine. They tried to go after Trump with tax returns, nothing. Mueller probe, nothing. Inflating his net worth or elevating the value of his real estate, that didn't work out in New York. Then January, he didn't tell people to commit any crimes. He never intimidated anybody in Georgia or anywhere else. So they have nothing on Trump. Let's now get to why mashed potato brains will be impeached. The emails are incriminating. If you read the emails, there are no emails like this regarding Trump. There is no money flow from another country to Trump. There is no money or compromising situation. Zero that Trump had. They impeached him based on an ellipsis and the opinion of about a bunch of people. The opinions of people who are conservatives. The opinions of John Radcliffe, Tom Fitton, Devin Nunes, Kash Patel, John Durham. The Durham Probe has indicted 3 people already. But if you want to talk opinion, if you're going to impeach people based on what experts believe, Biden, no doubt, will get impeached once, possibly twice, or even 3 times if they really wanted to. This is, quote, Dear Hunter, thank you for inviting me to D.C. and giving an opportunity to meet your father and spend time together. Biden said he didn't know anything that his son was doing. He lied. Then you have advice. How can you use advice? Asking Hunter for advice on how you could use your influence on behalf of the company? There is no email that links Trump or Eric Trump or Donald Trump Jr. or Jared Kushner to advice on how you could use your influence to benefit any company. There is no, when they say Trump sold America out, to whom? Where? When? We had amazing economic growth, record low unemployment, record low black and Latino unemployment. We had inflation was around less than 2% in 2019. Gas prices were less than $3. We had economic growth. So, what was the problem? His personality? You'd rather have a complete breakdown in society, but at least Trump is not tweeting. Inflation close to 10% now? Gas prices at $6 or $7 in certain parts of the country? You'd rather have that than Trump? Of course you would! If the ICBMs were flying over, the wonderful liberal Democrats would say, at least Trump is not tweeting. That's all they care about. But anyway, he forced out a prosecutor, and no, it wasn't official U.S. policy. Hit subscribe to this channel right now because I'm going to dispel and debunk all the myths that the very intelligent people, the wonderful, wonderful liberal Democrats believe. These are the same people oftentimes who are like, oh, I believe in God. There's no evidence. And then they're the same people who are like, yeah, Trump worked with the Kremlin. Well, there's no evidence there. Yeah, it's in the Steele dossier. Steele dossier was purchased by Clinton. Durham Probe is taking care of that. Watch my segments prior to this one. Every day I talk about the Durham Probe. The Durham Probe is expanding because they set up and framed Trump. Okay. President Zelensky himself stated that Trump never pressured him. There's no evidence at all that Trump was beholden to anybody. The emails that Hunter had on his laptop are not only incriminating, they're national security issues. When President Mashed Potato Brains was vice president and he forced out a prosecutor, anyone who tells you it was government policy is lying or ignorant or a combination, a stupid liar or an ignorant person who's lying or an ignorant person who doesn't know enough to lie. So, what took place was there was no U.S. government policy to force out any prosecutor in another sovereign nation. It's a sovereign nation, right? That's the whole thing. Well, then why did Biden force out a prosecutor? Oh, that's right. Maybe it had to do with all of those incriminating emails. And here's the people who, the Ukrainian officials, when he watch the actual clip, they're actually saying to him, you have no right. You have no right. They're telling Mashed Potato Brains when he's VP, you have no right to do that. Listen to him again. Listen to him again. He's very proud of it. He's like, and then I said, call the president. Call the president. He says that. He's referring to President Obama, obviously. Okay? Those officials that he strong-armed because they impeached Trump, it was all projection. That's exactly what President Exhumed Body did when he was VP. Watch the actual tape. It's still up, miraculously. He's trying to tell his, folksy, salt of the earth type of story, this whole shtick that he has. And this was when he was actually more lucid and, could actually communicate. And wasn't this, I don't know what, exhumed body. And he was saying, yeah. And I said, go call the president. And they said, you have no authority to do that. And I said, go call the president. That wasn't, when you hear the nonsense, oh, and he'll get impeached for numerous emails, in addition to other things. The Durham Probe is going to look into it also. Because that law firm, it's on, the law firm in question that was actually working with this campaign. Okay, it's on their website. Over the past year, attorneys across our firm, led by the political law group, have worked on behalf of the Biden-Harris campaign. Well, there you go. That's the Durham Probe right there. But when they say it was the policy of the president, where there's not one document in writing linked to President Obama, not one, that said he had to force out anyone within any Ukrainian official. Not one. There's not one document anywhere. The European Union, nothing that stated that the vice president had the power or the authority or that he should force out any prosecutor. Not one. You would have seen that document. So what they do is they say, well, it was the opinion of a lot of smart people that Joe did the right thing. Who cares? The opinion of a lot of smart people is meaningless. We've seen the appeal to authority when Democrats can't defend themselves on any topics we can't talk about. They say, well, really smart people agree with us. That doesn't mean anything. You need something called evidence. You can't go in a court of law and say, well, really smart people agree that that person stole money from me. You have to prove it. So he forced out a prosecutor in another country, and it almost certainly had to do with his son. His son was making millions upon millions. Now he's an artist. The emails show pay-to-play schemes. It's not the first time. You had Uranium One. Oh, guess what? From which country? Oh, that's right. Funny how nobody was sanctioning that country then because they were getting money into the foundation. We don't have to talk about it. The projection is unbelievable, but you have to understand something. Really smart people, like wonderful, morally superior liberal Democrats, when they're caught, they revert back to, you can't prove anything. The plausible deniability is okay for them. It's certainly not for Trump when they make things up. They just make things up. And then they get intel officials to investigate. He's under investigation. They're under investigation. They find nothing. They find nothing. You have like 3 or 4 Republicans under investigation. They haven't found anything. Now, imagine if those intel officials were investigating everything from the Clinton Foundation to Hunter's emails, which are now being used for a federal investigation. By the way, I want a rematch, Clinton versus Trump. So God bless Hillary Clinton. She needs to become nominee, and they'll fall behind her. I mean, the notion, I know Democrats better than most people. The notion that Democrats don't want Clinton, that could be true to an extent, but it's irrelevant because everyone from the far left to you know, the most ideologically, the greatest ideologues on the left, on the far left, will always vote Clinton, will always vote Democrat, vote blue no matter who. You have a complete monstrosity. Even the ones who claim to oppose the Democratic Party, no. Everyone will vote blue no matter who, so it really doesn't matter what Clinton should run. I mean, she would... the nomination will be hers whenever she decides that. Anyway, we need a rematch. The country needs a rematch. Anyway, I'd vote for Trump a million times over, obviously. They'll impeach Biden. And when they impeach Biden, and I bet you Madam Secretary will just be like, hey, you know what? Go ahead and impeach him. Better for us. Makes us look better. It would behoove her. And I'm not, there's nothing like, this is basic logic. It behooves the Clintons to have Biden impeached. It makes them look less corrupt. Anyway, could you imagine President exhumed body impeached and the media, oh my God, the media will try everything possible. Oh my God, poor Uncle Joe. You're doing this to Uncle Joe. It's true gas prices are $10 a gallon and we're in a recession and we're almost in a nuclear annihilation. But Uncle Joe never did anybody any harm. He's such a good person. Ask Jen Psaki. Anyway, give me your thoughts below. I'll be back in 1 hour. Check this channel in 1 or 2 hours, ladies and gentlemen. Hit subscribe right now. Republicans will impeach mashed potato brains probably twice. Give me your thoughts below. Especially those emails that say, how can you use your influence on behalf of the company? 10% for the big man. You're giving 10%. If Hunter's giving 10% to exhumed body, what do you think's taking place here? Then you have Tony Bubalinsky. I mean, this is like, you can't hide it. You can try to silence people. You could try to just, all of media can try to just silence and prevent debate and discussion and discourse. At the end of the day, everybody knew the truth. everybody knew the truth. Everybody who was interested knew the truth. It's just, had it been, like, they have state-run media in other countries. We have state-run media here. It's run by the Democratic Party, and it's essentially state-run media. There are voices here and there. That's why you're watching this channel. The New York Post is one of those voices that speak the truth. But the truth is not publicized. The truth is suppressed. Joe Rogan is one of those voices. The New York Post, at times the Wall Street Journal, the Federalist, okay? Read my article in the Federalist predicting the stock market crash that we're going to see, that we've been seeing in slow motion. Could you imagine if we had a normal functioning media that actually spoke about issues detrimental to Democrats without blaming their little security blankie, blaming the Kremlin for everything? Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. And by the way, all of the tragedies are taking place under the watch of Mashed Potato Brains. Give me your thoughts. Thank you.